So what's up, guys? I want to welcome you to another episode of Intellectual Conversation with Gabriel. In a general thought, it's been an underlying theme in the back of my mind is really what I want to get on my network and on my YouTube channel and on my potential prospective platform is just that, in my websites and the likes, is just that. Someone that studied, like, maybe not just psychology, but also sociology and the likes, as far as like understanding people. And like, I just tweeted something on Twitter, and for what it's worth, I suggested that people are literally very fickle. Like, people are fickle when it comes down to the thin line between love and hate. And I think that's very, very generally true, in the likes, because, like, in one instance that totally emphasizes what this amounts to is just that. Do you know the famous great basketball player LeBron James? I'm sure even if you're not into the sport or into the sports world or the sporting world and don't own your own team or don't have a favorite sports team, or as far as basketball, or own a single jersey or a throwback jersey or the likes, you can still relate to knowing who LeBron James is, one of the greatest players of this generation and the likes, and hated and loved by many and hated by even more, probably. But that comes down to a general truth that's always going to bear true for anybody that's changing industry and unconventional, in the sense that um, just a little bit different than your average player and the likes. And sometimes that comes down to being great and the likes, having potential that other people don't have, and just being a different type of player too. That can always, because society's been known throughout historical fate to totally fight progression every step of the way, tooth and nail, fight progression. So if perhaps not obvious with Obama's administration, but also that was more of a joke. But to emphasize, they also fight anything that's just to the betterment. Sometimes, like, I think not even just always for progression, but just change. Sometimes change is totally fought tooth and nails every step of the way. So, sometimes change can be good. What's admittedly admit that sometimes change can be good, and I think that's very, very true. So what it amounts to is just that. I wanted to get someone that knows about people, because, like, I have some questions, man. Like, and it's nothing I can't figure out myself. This is the age of Google. More answers on Google than there is than any Ivy League college and the likes. But also, you have to decipher and be educated in the sense that the difference between solid information, bad information, and also just gossip and you know information that's totally just like trash, garbage. As far as corrupting the minds of the youth and the masses, man. So you got to steer clear of some of that. And sometimes it is best. I think the best way, some of the best things you can get is mentorship, and that's where college really succeeds and thrives and the likes. So and also teaching some preliminary skills and specializations that are really gonna get you a job and employment, hopefully, in the likes, and hopefully a better life. But it's not the only way. So I say it's a good way, but it's not the only way. And until there's something better, I say keep on keeping on. But sociology is really fascinating. I think that's the study of people and how they interact with some. I'm not very definite. I would Google it right now, but I feel like we don't have time, and I don't want to whip out my phone, put in my long ass password, boom, 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 and totally have to look for the definition of sociology. But social people, the likes, and sociology, the study of people and how they interact or whatever, and psychology, the study of how people think and why they think that way and the likes, it's just very neat stuff. Two things that I would like to have people should combine and the likes to understand people and the likes. But sometimes this stuff is pretty straightforward and simple. People are pretty simple. Like, everybody wants the same things. They're all trying to get to the same level. It's as they teach in economics, a land of scarcity. Although this is a land of abundance. So I mean, it's just there is scarcity though. So we can't be too demanding, but at the same token, it's a battle against scarcity. And scarcity is beyond. Sometimes even in the land of milk and honey, beyond just unanalogous, not as an analogy, just bread and honey. As far as cars, clothes, women, and not to lump all those things together as um, commodities, right? That's a terrible disgrace, but oh man, catch me on the bad day, a bad day, man. I'm slipping out here, but for what it's worth, just commodities and likes are going to be scarce, and sometimes everybody's after, But the general truth, and what I'd like to talk to someone that studies sociology about is just like, generally, like, like things can make you more satisfied in the likes, but sometimes, just as is showcased by um Bourdain, taking his own life, a terrible disgrace, sad state of affairs because he has a daughter in the likes, but or from what I've recollected, I've never read any articles on it, but that's the last I heard from a third party non affiliated resource, that had been watching the news and the likes. But literally, like, having things can increase your likelihood for having happiness and the likes. And sometimes, as has been written in the Constitution of America, sometimes it's all about the pursuit of happiness, and half the battle is just pursuing happiness. And maybe it's never ending, maybe, and sometimes you gotta be happy with what you have, and then, then you'll get more, and then you actually appreciate it because you appreciated when you had so little. And there's people with so little that are happier than people with so much. So it's all this a damn mystery, baby. Is this a mystery? And how we navigate the system is really what makes or breaks us as human beings, And I think that you got to be, I think the most wise thing I could say is just like, sometimes you got to thank God for the small blessings. I have a quotation. It's actually on a CD I released. Oh my gosh, am I embarrassed yet? I released a CD, and for what it's worth, I totally suggested on the beginning of the CD the introduction. Sometimes those are the most pivotal portions because it's the first 15 seconds of the tape, and what you say is just groundbreaking, earth shattering, or it's going to be, on to the next one, So for what it's worth, it was pretty decent and the likes. So check it out, A Blessing and a Curse, on Amazon or the likes, iTunes or Google Play on your phone or whatever, or just streaming it on YouTube. But for what it's worth, what I suggested was remind me to thank God for the small blessings. That is, as I prepare to clock the large ones. And I think that's super, super valid and super, super with validity and super, super true, and to be emphasized. We got to be thankful for these small blessings in case, and when we do get the big blessings, we'll actually appreciate them because, as can be, a quintessential example is just that, having a child, and them having access to something that they don't have appreciation for because they don't know its utility or its monetary value or the likes, it's just foolish, because they're not going to understand the concept of, even things is superficial as monetary value, but it's not super superficial because, money has utterly of importance, and obviously there's lots of problems with people not having enough resources and the likes. Again, back to the economics 101, a land of scarcity is just native of in the world, but at the same token, you got to keep it in perspective because, until you travel the world, I guess it's all in perspective because, there's people that are dying to have your position, your spot, your role, your humility and the likes, as far as that. So I suggest it's good to be humble and realize that, there's many people from all different backgrounds and the likes, so just be appreciative, and I try to be appreciative. And sometimes I got checked earlier today, someone checked me, a family member checked me, and they said, like, I'm just like, sometimes I get so ambitious and so driven and so wanting to be the world's greatest, and and it's not all that, sometimes you gotta let that ego go totally and just realize that, you gotta just play hard, put your heart into it and play your heart out, and leave it all out there on the field. And the field being this game of competitive world economics, or this field being your employment or your prospective side hustle or your second job or or even just raising your children, a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home father or the likes, so worst word, just leave it out there on the field, man. Just play your heart out, and you won't even realize you're winning sometimes. And sometimes that's the purest form of happiness, just realizing like, damn, I played so hard, I accomplished so much, and I have so much to be thankful for. You look at your respective children and the likes, and you're just like, damn, like, I made this happen, and then you realize like I'm winning. I'm out here winning, and I didn't even realize it. I just been playing my heart out, and like it made me happy, So sometimes it's the small things. Just having the chance to pursue happiness is what's going to make you the most happy. And that's just my philosophy on things. But not again to quote J. Cole, and the sentiment I value a lot is totally just that, and that is, it's true. He says this in a line. Like, I have a lot of quotes in my mind from hip hop music and the likes, and I don't know exactly what songs they're from, but Google search will be a quick Google search will totally define which songs it comes from. But literally, J. Cole, the artist, the international artist, very prominent in the likes, has suggested, money can't buy you happiness. It's true as hell, but but I forget the words, but he's like, happiness can't buy you this new XL, or say, oh damn, the line's slurring, but it's a really good line. It's like, hold on, let me give me one moment. I'm gonna think in my head, and I'm gonna get this line right because I want to share it with you. It's just groundbreaking, earth shattering, baby. Let me think. I can't think of it, man. Is this under the pressure of these bright lights? I can't think, but for what it's worth, it's literally like, it's like this. Money can't buy you happiness. It's true as hell. But happiness can't buy your ass this new XL, like talking about the Yukon XL or something along those lines, But that's just a play on words, And J. Cole's been the first to admittedly in a lot of his interviews, he's like a lot of people aren't as, like even people that have accomplished something they think is valuable and the likes, and sometimes the society values, aren't as happy as like you think that with them living their dreams supposedly. But was it really their dreams? Maybe not. Maybe it was just pressured upon them to do that because society has a tendency for marginalizing and also encouraging certain behaviors and rewarding certain behaviors, but also degrading other behaviors, and that's just society trying to channel energy, talent into certain sectors. And I think you should do something that's going to pay the bills and benefit you and make you happy, but also something that you're passionate about, maybe, and also something that's so all the above. It's about balance in life. And as a Libra, I can totally totally agree with the sentiment that you want to have some balance with, like, being financially stable. That's one pivotal thing. I think a sociologist would say that most people are chasing is just stability, and the likes, and also just fulfillment, feeling like you're making a difference, not something that's just like to get a check, and a large proportion of society is literally attempting to live their lives like just working a job and getting a check. And it's not really making them feel fulfilled, which is degrading their happiness. And it's also, they may not be getting the financial stability that they need and the likes, because I think this is a quotation off the top of my head, but 23% of Americans, and that's just a demographic in America. I know I'm speaking to perhaps the whole entirety that is the world. So it varies from community to community, and, and wages and the likes, are different in different communities and the likes, but what it amounts to is that 23% of Americans don't have anything saved for emergency, like an emergency fund or the likes, which is a terrible disgrace. I think it was as high as that, because there is financial ruin, just like it's just cyclical. You don't have to be Einstein, you don't have to have a degree in finance to realize that it's all cyclical, and some things can be delayed and the likes, but there is crises that just happen. Like the housing market will go up, it will become a seller's market, then it will crash and become a buyer's market. You don't have to be Einstein to understand these concepts. You know what I mean? And the stocks, it will be bullish out here, and then it will be a bear market. So for what it's worth, like simple math, you know, and the likes. So it's just about minimizing your losses and totally getting more wins than losses. Wins than losses. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. More wins than losses, more success than failures. And shit, man. I mean, when you're playing like the game in life, like the game of life like that, then it's really like you can't lose, you know, as far as rolling with the punches and the likes. But you know, you can't become too dependent on other people and the likes, because it's imperative that you, me, everybody just be able to make smart, fiscally wise decisions. And sometimes that means downloading a budget app and the likes, and just you know, handling business as far as making smart plays and the likes. And also, you know, a number one procedure might be expanding your income through side hustle or through entrepreneurship or through you know, even something as mediocre as paying down high interest loans or credit cards or anything that's predatory by nature, or just you know, business by nature, you know, the likes, you know. So for us, we're like that's just simple things that are simple steps to get you in the right trajectory, the right direction. And obviously, you know, since I've alluded to, you know, not crises necessarily, but just markets that are less tending to prosperity and the likes, then totally you want to be prepared, you know, to survive and not have to cash out your, you know, like, like as has been elaborated to me by, like, you know, on, like, you know, I watch a lot of videos and likes podcasts and the likes, just, you know, just learning as much as I can, you know, because I still have a lot to learn. I'm 26 in the likes and just getting better still in the likes. But you know what like, you know, millennials haven't really seen a market besides that last Great Recession, which was drawn out because of stimulation packages under the Obama administration and the likes. But you know, when 40% of the wealth, 40% of the 401ks disappears, can you handle it? Like, that's pressure, baby. Put on your headband, because you're gonna feel some. It's gonna be a fucking credit squeeze out this bitch, man. So I mean, that happens. You know, it happened in the past. In the past, it's all a cycle, you know, and then it's gonna blow back up, you know. So, like, you know, technically, I mean, I don't know, man. No one fucking knows, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So maybe that guy fucking knows, and maybe we should peep his podcast, you know, and learn something. And then if he knows some shit that I don't know, then more power to him, and I'd love to learn, you know. So that's why it's valuable to keep learning and follow good podcasts, and you know, people just that get you thinking. You know, I'm just here to stimulate your juices, stimulate your mental thinking, you know, and just get you thinking. But yeah, 40% of the wealth this dissipates. The credit market, you know, as far as people lending so much for lucrative interest rates, fucking dissipates, man. You know, and the likes, you know, like, you got to be prepared for these type of environments. And 23% of Americans not having emergency funds is dangerous, you know. So we all got to be prepared, you know, as far as being able to survive, you know, until, you know, things can be stimulated again, you know, and the likes, you know. So it's not the end of the world, I don't think. But you know, I really don't know, you know. I'm still learning, you know. So, you know, the same token, I do have opinions and likes, but you know, I'm not here to give it like total advice, because, like, you know, it's just like, it's more so to get you thinking and make decisions for yourself, you know, and the likes, because consultation is good, and half of that is just getting people to think about what they really want to do and what they know is possible and they're capable of, you know, and the likes. And there's a difference between you know, helping someone choose the difference between an LLC and an S corp, and fucking telling them exactly, you know, and money's a special topic, because it's just people don't, you know, you want to piss someone off, mess with your money, my money, their money, anybody's money, you know, and it'd be a bad day, man. And fucking you know, what else? And their sleep. Mess with my sleep, your sleep, anybody's sleep, you know, and they'll be pissed off, you know. So I think that's valuable lessons and the truth. But I have a couple sentiments I did write out. That was just all off the top of my head, just sharing some thoughts I thought might be valuable about someone I hope to plan, you know, as far as collegially to, or just mastermindly, to get on my platform to ask some questions to, and just get their humble opinion, you know, as far as someone that understands psychology, sociology to a high extent. You know, whether they're the most profound person in the world or just, someone that has value to add. And I believe a lot of people have value to add, not just this person, that person, but there's a lot we can learn from many, many people out here. So a couple of sentiments, I've just read some articles and the likes, and these aren't to be written in stone. I mean, I've joked several times that literally, the only way my tweets could be any more influential is if they were written in stone. And that's my quote, but that's a little bit like harsh and maybe egotistical. I could be that way at times, so bear with me. I apologize. But literally, I read some articles and I thought they were of value and just some general opinions. But everybody's like opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, technically and theoretically, and just to put a play on words and puns and the likes, So for what it's worth, I read an article and it was suggesting and literally alluding to that, this world of cryptocurrency is actually emphasized to be way ahead of its time. The technology is really good. It's really superior. A lot of investment firms are actually investing in blockchain and the likes, but they're not investing too heavy. Like no one, the whole cryptocurrency market is just a little bit of a fucking fugazi because, it's predicted to possibly, as Warren Buffett has related it to rat poison in his address, his economic address just a couple months back. Literally, these cryptocurrencies are literally alluded to be rat poisoned by Warren Buffett. And also this article that I just read suggested that, cryptocurrencies are ahead of their time, and it's just too much inconsistencies and too much political affairs that are totally going to degrade them. And, it's alluded to that no one knows anything or everything except maybe fucking Warren Buffett. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking, man. You know what I'm saying? But literally what it amounts to is just that, and that is cryptocurrencies are suggested to maybe tank out within this next decade. A lot, like 99% of them. So for what it's worth, be very leery. And as I've talked to a financial advisor, and got his humble opinion, and I'm gonna write an article on this later this week, on Bitcoin and the likes, and just summing up what I read in this article, and also my own opinion, and also a lot of what I just shared with you just there. But I'm gonna put it in written format so you can revise and reread and the likes. But literally, and also what this financial advisor shared with me, which is what I'm gonna tell you now. And he was suggesting that we're staying away from it till it's totally. He said my firm is staying away from it until it's totally regulated and the like. So and that's not anywhere near the future too much, So in this next decade, it's totally plausible. And as this article has suggested, that's going to bottom out. Just literally, it has nowhere to go but down. At one point, I was pretty psyched up, and I'm easily excited, and the likes. I was like, oh my gosh, I was doing all this Google research and the likes, some of that can be inconsistent and the likes, so this was just a few years back. I didn't get in on that like that craze where people turned $100 into like $50 million, because it was cents on the dollar, and the likes, and then it goes up a whole bunch of zeros, on there. So that's a mighty lucky lottery pick. And for those people that were tech geeking and mining back in 2009 or 2010, more power to you, man. That's one of the perks of being lucky, and also being on the brink of something that's new and exciting and fun, But at the same token, it's been elaborated in this article that totally Bitcoin cryptocurrencies are going to tank out within this next decade. So that's just one prediction, one man's prediction. I'm not sure who the author was, but it's a valuable sentiment, and not to be degraded from, but this blockchain is valuable and the likes. And as I've talked to this financial advisor, he's literally suggested that his firm is investing in blockchain because it does have potential long term. But as far as these cryptocurrencies of today, will they last? Oh my gosh, with Warren Buffett calling it rat poison, and this article I just read saying they're going to tank out within the next 10 years, and they're only have nowhere to go but down. Those glamorous, ambitious, euphoric, optimistic viewpoints I had of, oh my gosh, I'm getting, I got in on Bitcoin so late. Like, oh my gosh, it was just a terrible disgrace. But you can't win every single battle. You just got to win sometimes, and that's half the battle. Oh my gosh. But really what it amounts to is that I was excited. I was like, everybody's selling dreams out here. America's filled with people selling dreams, and I think most of the world is filled with people selling dreams and the likes. But for what it's worth, it's like Bitcoin could go as high as 100,000. And I'm like, oh my gosh, man, like, is this possible? Could it really, and the likes, and I'm thinking like, I'm just gonna dabble a little bit, but at the same token, this shit's not even regulated. It's just a bunch of hogwash, rat poison. So, we live and we learn. This was about like, a couple years, like once the craze was really hitting the open market for not the early adopters, but totally the adopters that were late, but not the early adopters, not making tons of money off of it, and the likes, so. Have I made a little bit of coinage off cryptocurrency? Yeah, but it was shady as fuck, man. So, and it's just, so it's not regulated and it's just one sketchy mess. So, at some tokens, maybe think like this financial advisor told me, free game, just be leery of the anything that's unregulated and the likes, because in it's just higher risk, and the like, so not only is stocks like can be high risk, 40% of the wealth in the 401ks can just disappear overnight. Like, oh my gosh, that's high risk. And half of it's consumer sentiments and just affairs of what's happening in the environment or in the world around us, and the likes, and they're all interconnected, and it's just one global community at times, through the internet. But anything, if stocks can lose 40% and this shit's not even regulated, and it's just Warren Buffett, who's from a different time period, admittedly, suggesting that, I think he's 88 or 87 or something, so like, it wouldn't be it's understandable why he wouldn't understand any type of cryptocurrency and ever dabble with any of it, but, I'm not saying it's bad to dabble a little bit, but, you don't want to be putting your fucking too much of your lunch money in this shit, unless, I'm still thinking there's potential, but I'm gonna read an article to really expand upon this, because I've set a one-sided perspective right now during this podcast, this oration, but I really do have a lot more thoughts into it. And I think, I've seen a lot of people that believe in the potential of it. A lot of people, like some finance professors even, that really believe in the potential of cryptocurrency. So it goes both ways, and sometimes you just gotta pick your fucking poison, pick your fucking side, and just ride, win, lose, or draw. But not like with everything, because it's about diversification. As has been emphasized. And again, you don't have to be Einstein to realize these basic concepts. So for what's worth, man, I think let me get back to my sentiments. I wrote them down on this piece of paper. Three sentiments. There, I threw up two, but three sentiments. This was a statistic I thought was super, super fun in the likes, and that just is after that Great Recession, where things did kind of bottom out and the stock market did, 401ks kind of did, go for a, a little bit, in the likes for a temporary period or housing market or whatever the shit was, man. Like, the past is the past, but literally, after some downturns in the markets throughout history and the likes, just periodically, there was a poll by Wells Fargo that 53% of millennials said they would never invest in the stock market. 53%. You know how much money is being made in the stock market? So it's just a little bit of a disgrace. At the same token, not everybody has that type of stamina or that type of longevity or that type of emergency fund where they can survive, losing 40% of wealth overnight and having to wait for it to revamp up and make them more money, the likes. But, so for what it's worth, I thought that was an interesting statistic. And this poll was taken of a small select few people of millennials aged, I wrote it down, 20 to 36. So is that the millennial age group? I think millennial age group is not defined necessarily, but that's a general gamut of someone that would be suggested to be millennials. And this survey was taken in 2017. So very, very interesting. And I thought that was amazing, in the likes, but sometimes, especially as young people, as millennials or even the younger generation and the likes with more access to being easily investable into online digital apps, Acorns and Robinhood and the likes, and just value investing and the likes, then totally and just diversification, it's still pretty cool, the likes, just to play, a little bit, if you want to, so no force. Obviously 53% of the millennials are totally against it and the likes, but according to a 2017 survey of 1,700 people, which is not that many, so that's maybe not a valid, maybe it doesn't have much validity, but it's Wells Fargo. Fuck, man. I mean, I think it's valid, so for what it's worth. And then I have another statistic on here written down that's totally doesn't have any details on it. I'm trying to recall what I was talking about when I wrote it down. I think it suggested that household wealth, the average household wealth in America, was $140,000 in 2007. So that's the whole gamut, and that's the average. So there's people with ultra high net worths, and also people with lesser impressive net worths, or even the likes. But household wealth levels was 140,000 in 2007, and then it's gone down to $85,000 in 2010. So that goes to show totally what crashes can do and the likes. And the recovery has been bragged about by the president-elect Donald Trump, but totally it's at least the average wealth levels hasn't totally even possibly recovered. I'm not definite of that fact, but I think that's a general statement that I'm confident to perhaps purport. So for what it's worth, sometimes the 1% is making a lot of the wealth and the tax cuts has benefited the corporations at the very top, but sometimes you got to choose what kind of decisions you're going to make with yourself, and sometimes that involves navigating the system to the best of your abilities and the likes. So I think it's very cool, very valuable and the likes, and I think that's all I have for you today, man. Was it a good show? I hope it was a valuable show. I mean, I only have three things written down, and I think that was of substance. I think it was substantive enough, for this late night and the likes. And I think we're always just having some fun, and just getting our creative minds thinking, and I can't wait to have some more people on, that can totally help me expand my mind, expand your mind. And as I learn more and read more, and I'm about to do some reading right now, and I got a big weekend ahead of me. Hopefully some fun, get into some fun shit, working too hard. But at the same token, I think hard work will pay. I think you'll love what hard work gets you, and making smart decisions, money decisions. So I think we all need to prepare for tomorrow, but also live for the moment. So remind me to live for the moment, but also prepare for tomorrow. And shit, man, I'm trying to get to the point that I haven't yet, but I've alluded to it being a good idea and the likes, as has been alluded to me. And that just is drawing out literally plans, 200-year plans, for your family and the likes, as far as that goes, and the likes, because sometimes advice is to be heeded, and although youth and vitality can totally be chock filled with foolishness and likes, all young people make a lot of mistakes, and sometimes we don't want to listen, sometimes we don't, but I think it's good to listen. Sometimes I don't even listen, so sometimes you got to make your own mistakes, make your own plays and likes, but I'm trying to be better at listening, because I know that's what's going to be a game changer, listening, learning, and also, when you open your mouth, it should be profound. You should be speaking life, so that's beyond true. So I hope this was a joyful podcast and the likes, a vlog, or whatever you want to call it. Again, intellectual conversation with Gabriel. We're just having fun, thinking loud, and just enjoying ourselves. So disregard the background in the back. If you look really hard, you'll see I have some orange juice. I love some OJ, and it's I'm not even gonna mention the brand, but you see how big it is, right? And I've been sipping OJ all night, so you see the orange back there underneath the table? Am I embarrassed yet? Oh my gosh, that's the general truth, man. That's the general fucking truth. So again, more music on the way. more podcasts, more interviews, more grand talks with all sorts of people, you know, from teachers to professors to maybe really profound motherfuckers if I pull my strings correct, you know, and the likes, you know, and pull these strings that I'm capable of pulling because everybody in this at this table right now, that's you, me, and all my viewers, and everybody is just hopefully inspired to feel powerful as fuck, because that's what I want to encourage in you, is for you to realize your own power, you know, in the legs, you know. Because as I realize my own, I like to I aspire to inspire. Blew my fucking mind, baby. Blew my fucking mind. So I think that's it for now, and I hope this is coming through loud and clear. I'm not gonna put any edits on it, but for this word, we're getting better still. The bright lights are shining. Hopefully, making you feel comfortable as possible and the likes, and so much to learn and so much to earn and so much fun to be had. So let's try to have some balance in life and live for the moment, but also plan for tomorrow, even to the extent of 200 years down the line, 500 years down the line. I mean, that's how you really change a family, and that's how you really change your own lifestyle and your own universe. But it starts with your own universe being the change you wish to see in the world, and then totally you can change your descendants, your successors, and every single person you touch, alter their world. And that's the definition of motherfucking power, baby. So that's what it comes down to. And we'll talk very soon. An intellectual conversation with Gabriel. A real pleasure. The pleasure is all mine. It's an honor that you'd be here with me, and that we will talk soon. Okay? Peace.